This is Dr. Sarah Farid. I am that global tech attorney girl, and I build systems, infrastructure, and products that enable high growth tech companies to scale. I've been doing this for like 8 to 9 years, and I am skilled in technology transactions that deal with data, that deal with AI, that deal with virtual assets, right? So today I want to quickly go over what is a pre-built legal product review checklist. And what I notice is that often companies and products come to us where they've been in the market for a while and they've had some trouble, or they are expecting some things to happen as they scale, right? So they want to grow and protect themselves. But what I highly, highly recommend is to have a pre-built legal product review checklist, right? So the legal product review checklist we're going to go over has exactly like 6 steps. And if you can see this, I'm just going to go over these very, very quickly. The first is jurisdictions and markets, right? So understanding like where are you going to operate, where are you going to start operating, where do you already operate, and mapping the regulations there, the requirements for the regulators that are involved for licensing there, and also like looking at industry specific requirements, right? So if you're in the aerospace sector, you look at that. If you're in the pharma sector, you need to look at that for that particular region, and that goes across the region. Of course, like you can have standard contractual clauses that deal with those contracts, but again, what needs to happen is that you need to know where you're going and what applies there, and to anticipate those needs before you go into those markets, or even whether you want to assess going into a particular market. This is what I recommend. So looking at those jurisdictions, looking at those markets, you map those. The second thing is to know your product features and risk triggers. So map the entire flow of the product, like where does data go in, where does data go out, what does the product do, how does it interact with the consumer from like the moment a consumer comes into the picture, how does it use third parties as vendors to do what it does, and to understand the flow of the product, you can identify risk triggers from there on, right? So the third thing is to know the IP. How do you protect your IP and branding ownership, right? So if you have a software and you're using some of the source code that is open source, then that is taken from something like GitHub, then you need to understand that some of that code might not be protectable. And if it is protectable, you need to know how much of it is derived from that and how much of it is originally yours from what you've created. That can get a little tricky, even if you use wrappers. There is understanding where what you've created is original and where it's not, right? So understanding number 4, data flows, right? So data flows, you need to understand who has access to retrieval. There's an identity access management system, which means that certain privileged people have more rights to manage data, and also like they are being monitored, whether it's keystrokes tracking or whether it's timing in and out, like checking what each user is doing, with automatically doing that, but also understanding like where are you taking consent from consumers, and where is that data being used, how is it being used, and really like the whole data governance framework associated with that product, and where those checkpoints need to exist for you to safeguard yourself as a company. Okay, so number 5 is AI. So if you're using AI, you need disclaimers, you need to look at the IP issues. See, the issue with AI is, for instance, if it's doing ad placements, if it's learning, it can easily get sidetracked, have hallucinations, basically like go off road with what it's doing and not realize that there is harmful output, that it is violating IP already in place. So those things need to be dealt with, and the disclaimers might not be enough all the time. So you need to sort of look into like regularly monitoring that, right? So the sixth thing is marketing and sales guidelines, disclaimers to ensure that you're not misleading, but you're effective. Okay, so I'm signing off. This is that global tech attorney girl, and I'll be back with another video very, very soon. So stay tuned and keep watching. If you are a founder, if you work for a high growth tech company, if you work in emerging technologies, or even if you're interested in understanding the issues of where the next generation of value creation is going, then this is totally the right place to be. All right, thanks.